And when you come, yep, it looks like you're exactly there. That like we don't want to kind of lean back. We want to feel that the sitting bones are kind of near the edge so that we can find the most neutral rotation of your hips, the shoulders back, the spine tall. As you close your eyes. So I'm going to kind of set like the imagery for today's class. And then towards the end of class, we're going to put it into a full meditation, but supported. So you don't have to be holding up your spine. The idea behind today's class is I want you to, as clearly as possible, begin to imagine yourself walking on the beach. You can feel the warm sand in between the toes. You begin to become aware of the sound of the waves. Can you conjure up that kind of internal warm feeling we get with the sun on our face? As clearly as possible, try to transport yourself to that place. And then you imagine sitting down, facing the water. And as you watch a wave come in, imagine drawing it into the body, feeling the chest rise. And as the tide recedes out, it leaves a sense of calmness in its wake. A few more like that. Inhale, maybe drawing some energy into the body. Exhale. There's a calmness. One more. Inhale. Exhale. As your eyes open, with your right hand, you're going to grab the edge of the chair. You're kind of hooking underneath the bottom. And then with your left hand, you're going to imagine that you're reaching down, leaning towards the left. Yep. So the left arm just kind of dangles. And you let your left ear drop towards your left shoulder. Knowing that you're doing it right, if you could feel the stretch through the side of the neck, through the top of the shoulder, the trapezius. And you can just kind of shake that left arm. Let it kind of drain out here. Just a couple more breaths. Yeah, so try to really use the gripping onto the right side of the chair to hang, stretch, pull the top of the right ear up and away on the diagonal. And then lift back up to center. And left hand grabs the underside of the left side of the chair, right arm heavy. Without forcing, let that right ear hang heavy. And then just gently shake out your right arm. And, it's kind of that tilting of the chin that can really affect where you feel this stretch. I like just that little kind of tuck in as you extend through the top of the ear and through the crown of the head as you hang. Inhale. Exhale, pop back up through center. One more time here. Grab the right side of your chair. Find the edge as you hang away. And then let your left hand come to the outside of that right ear. And then just gently guide the right side of the head, maybe even the fingers, kind of massage into the skin. And then as you cup the head, let the chin now roll more down here, in towards your chest. Sometimes moving the placement of my hand a little bit more to the back of the skull gives that stretch to the back of the neck. Just one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Use your left fingertips on the left side of the head to help push the head back up through center. And then change side. Good. All right. Now, as you dangle that right arm, it's almost like we're going to imagine that we're going to start picking up some seashells. Right arm comes around, grabs the left side of your head. Gentle lengthening, pulling of the occipital bone away from the base of the neck. Gentle tuck in, maybe reposition your hand. Inhale. As you exhale, you're leaving calmness in the weight. Fingertips to the outside of your right temple, and then push yourself back up to center here. Good. Hands on your thighs, shoulders back, eyes closed. Now, as you find yourself sitting here, you're going to pick up a seashell. And as you pick up a couple seashells, we're going to imagine that each shell, whatever its color, size, shape, maybe it's broken, right, represents a story we tell ourselves or a feeling. Especially this morning, if one of those feelings is like a tiredness, a heaviness in the body, you label it. This is a feeling of heaviness. And then imagine tossing it into the ocean and letting it be pulled away. Draining your body of that sensation. Imagine it leaving you feeling a little lighter, less heavy. Inhale energy into the body. There's an openness, a lightness. Exhale, releasing what we no longer need. As your eyes float open, interlace the hands behind the back of the head, wide elbows, but keeping the trapezius soft. And now just a few big seated cat-cows here. Clear, yep. So being up on the chair, it can be a little bit easier to feel the rocking of your hips. The firm support as you press your feet down into the ground. Maybe imagine burying them in the warm sand, sun on the face. And you'll take two more. All the way down and in. Lifting back up and rounding. Good. And then as you come back up to center, you're going to take your feet wider like a goddess pose. Thumbs. Yep, thumbs on the insides. Inhale, lengthen. Take your time as you drop that right shoulder. Keep it as a gentle twist into the upper body, pushing that right knee away. Stretch through the inner right adductor, and then come back to center. Sitting tall and changing sides. Good. Now with breath, inhale, center. Exhale, twist, and you look out over that top shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, opposite direction. Kind of gentle corkscrewing through the upper back, neck, and head. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in at center and rinse it out here like the tide coming in and out. Coming back to center here. Okay, from center, right elbow supported onto your upper right thigh, left arm extends up and over. Okay, so keep trying to take that left sitting bone, feel it, ground down onto the seat of the chair. Good. As you lengthen up and out. Inhale, look in the direction of the fingertips as you stretch, maybe towards that like blue sky if you're sitting on the beach, and then you come back through center. Good, and change sides. Really spiral through that right arm, right? Bicep deepens back, tricep forward, really try to make that armpit. Notice that the waist shifts, but more weight, good, down into that right sitting bone. Lengthen up and out on that diagonal, look towards your right fingertips as you reach, inhale. Exhale. Come back through center. Feet hip width distance apart. Keep it gentle. Left hand on the outside of your right knee. Right hand goes back to kind of hold the top of the chair. You can keep your belly turned as far forward as you can, and then use the gentle pressure, shoulders relaxed. As you send a few powerful breaths up into the lungs, up into the chest, maybe filling into your upper back. Use this as a rinse, like letting go of one of those seashells, emptying out. Come back to center as you inhale. And then we'll just finish up on this side, right hand outside edge. Left hand holds the chair. I kind of push down to make sure I'm continuing to sit tall. There can probably be a little more awareness of trying to draw your shoulders back to keep your chest lifted. Inhale. Exhale. Unwind as you come back to center. Okay. Then we're going to come to stand. Shift the chair. And then as you come down onto your hands and knees, big toes come together to touch. Press your hips back towards your heels, and all of this clarity is going to require just a little bit of like moving the chair. If you want to fold your arms and rest your third eye. Okay, sometimes like the edge of the chair can be really nice for like kind of rolling a little bit from one eyebrow bone to the other bone. I don't know where you hold tension, but I tend to hold like a lot, like right in between the eyebrows. You can kind of let the edge of the chair kind of flatten that, squeeze that, press that out, decompress. As you use the weight of the belly, the weight of the rib cage, sinking down towards the ground, opening side body. And then I do have to be careful though that I'm not squeezing around the neck. Let this be a little bit more passive as you just sink in. One more inhale. Exhale. Okay, we're going to come back up through center now onto your knees. Yep, and then step your left leg out laterally. Okay, and you're going to be able to like choose a lot of different options. If you want to keep it more mild, right, you can just rest, right? Especially on those days that your body's feeling a little like low energy. And then if you ever want more, right, you can kind of reach for the top, and it really, it's chair proportions. Yeah. And we're going to kind of get the upper body and the arms and the shoulders ready for more of our downward facing dogs. Let the pubic bone pull through the upper thighs. Let the sitting bones lift and spread. Inhale. Exhale. Begin to help yourself back out. Okay. And then you're going to step that left foot into the mat, 45-degree angle, and hinge in. So I'm just going to rest on my elbows, pushing down into the elbows, rolling the shoulder blades down and back, like a little bit how maybe you would do like a Sphinx pose. And then use your back right leg. I always cue this, like pressing down through the center of the top of your right ankle, down through the center of that right shin bone. And the more our elbows push into the seat of the chair, you can lift your chest. Good way to make a little bit more space through the abdominal cavity. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to keep all of that as we pull the hips up and back, and then straighten your left leg. Good. Do a little bit more of an isometric stretch, meaning like put some muscular energy into the ankle, into the quadricep as much as you can. Try to do cow pose through the pelvis. Make sure that your right hip doesn't turn in too much, that it's still widening open. Good. And then you decide if you want to take a little break with the head, neck, and shoulders as you fold in. Okay. So whether it's a feeling or a sensation or a story that you tell yourself, or even just a thought, you can notice it as it comes into your experience. And this idea, like with that open hand, just letting it go, letting the tide pull it out. Inhale. There can be a lot of imagery of kind of like the shell sinking. You kind of sink into the depths of the water here as you breathe in and breathe out. Walk yourself back up through center. Left knee down onto the mat. Right leg out. And then your choice. Either just a cow pose through the pelvis as you melt in. Yeah. Full extension of your arms, a resting of the chin. And what can be really nice is that like when you have the rest, the support of the chair for the upper body, might make it a little bit easier to put more work into that right leg. Our upper right thigh bone is trying to internally rotate. As you step all four corners of the foot down, like it's sinking into the sand. Inhale. Exhale. Come back up onto your hands. Right foot steps, bending the right knee at 90. And then hip hinge in, up on your elbows. Going to help with the theme of class today. Strong ujjayi breath at the back of the throat, that wave-like sound, like the sound of the ocean in a seashell. Explore that edge as you sink in. Inhale. Exhale, pressing down through the center of the ankle, the center of the calf muscle. Make the lower leg pretty active. And then you're going to pull the hips back as you straighten the front right leg. Yep, this is our last one here. A little bit more energy as we spread the toes, squeeze the kneecap, press the head of the femur bone down, and then fold in. Nothing sticks, nothing holds. It's always in flow. trying to get the hips as square to the top of your mat as possible. And use a few more breaths for a big juicy stretch through the adductor, through the hamstring. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Walk yourself back up through center, and then you can step to stand. Good, you're gonna take your feet a little bit wider, maybe hip width distance apart. And then as your left knee bends and your right leg stays straight, left hand can go to the center of your chair, and then right arm extends up. Okay, good place to practice, like not sinking into the left shoulder, right? Like pressing down to lift up and out. And then change sides. Deeply bend right knee. Left leg is straight. Right hand in the center of the chair as you rotate. We're going to come through with one more breath. Left hand down, inhale. Bending left knee, rotate, twist. Let the ribs lead into the shoulder, into the arms. Through center, right hand down, inhale, press. Exhale, turn into your twist, rinse out that stiffness. Good. Come back through center, both hands up on the top of your chair. And then as much as you want to, you can bend your knees, sinking in. Let this be your version of a down dog for right now. And just like a down dog, the way you might pedal the legs or shake your hips or rinse out your ribs, your shoulders. Getting into that full body stretch. Inhale. Exhale, empty, empty, empty. Good. Come back up through center. Okay, we're going to move the chair off to the side. We're going to use that a little bit more. But now, fuller body. We'll take 3 big Surya Namaskara A's. Arms up. Gather the energy. Exhale. Slowly slide down into your Malasana. Inhale. Exhale. Straighten the legs, hands to your shins. Inhale, lengthen, half flat back. Left foot steps back, lizard lunge. Right foot steps back, down dog. Inhale, shift that forward into plank. Flip and roll over the toes, tabletop. Inhale, cow. We're going to change it up a little bit. Exhale, cat. Squeeze the inner knees, widen the shoulders. Tuck toes. Inhale, cow. And then with your elbows, sing over your wrists, do your little Ardha Chaturanga as you press back up, tabletop. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Letting go of any, I liked this idea of like a broken seashell, like the kind of old broken stories that we tell ourselves. Letting those release. Inhale. Exhale. Step forward, top of your mat, feet wide. Hands to shins as you inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in, belly between the inner upper thigh. Yep. Bend knees, drop hips, sit low, Malasana. Inhale. Exhale, press to stand. Good. Here we go. Big movement. Inhale, eyes up, gaze up, look up. Exhale, slide down, squat into Malasana. Inhale. Exhale, straight legs, hands to shins. Inhale, half flat back. Step your right foot back, lizard lunge, long spine, driving through the heel. Gorgeous, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward plank. Feel a little tension, a little squeeze in between your inner upper thigh. Lower the knees. Inhale, cow. Exhale, round cat. Big full body movements. Inhale, cow. Exhale, Ardha Chaturanga. Come halfway down. And then press back up. Downward facing dog. 1. Might be most helpful today to believe that you're like drawing in, like you're solar powered. You're kind of drawing in that sun energy, the prana that rides on the breath for 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. Step forward, top of your mat. Hands to shins. Inhale, lengthen. Double hamstring stretch, fold in, keep widening the thigh. Bend knees, drop hips, sit low. Malasana. Inhale. Exhale, press to stand, dive through strong, active leg class. 1, inhale, reach. Exhale, slide. Let the tailbone drop as your low back widens. Inhale. Exhale, shift the weight back into the heel. Straight legs, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen. Step back, downward facing dog. Stretch to the side body. Inhale, forward plank. Think that you're kind of bracing or firming in through your outer hips. Knees to the mat. Go through your flow. Inhale. Try to find that little bit of an upper back bend. Exhale, pull the belly in and up. Come back through your cow pose. Elbow creases are forward. Exhale, lower halfway. Engage the upper back and triceps. Press through tabletop. Downward facing dog. 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. Breathe in. Breathe out. Finish it up. Step forward. Hands to shins. Inhale, lengthen. Rock the weight into the balls of the feet as you fold in. Bend knees, drop hips, sit low, chair pose. Malasana, sorry. Old habits die hard. Inhale. Exhale, press all the way to stand. Okay, we're going to grab that chair. We're going to bring it back onto the center of our top of our mat. Good. Now, I want the ball here, Claire, of your right foot to go on the edge of the chair, but with the Achilles tendon hanging off a little bit, right? So that maybe as the heel drops, it can stretch your Achilles tendon. And then you're going to find the positioning where you can fully close that right knee. Yeah. Belly will obviously be on the inside. Keep the pressure off the belly. And then you play with moving that left foot back until you get a really strong stretch up and out of the quadricep. Okay. So we're going to be here for a second. We're not doing class like yin, right? But long enough that, especially if you're tired, that you don't have to move so much. Weight is in the root of the right big toe. Back leg, the stronger and straighter we make it, like a high lunge. And then I like my right knee eventually, my right forearm on my right knee so I can lift my chest, because you don't have the opportunity for a lot of like cobras and up dogs. Keeping the front body open. The back, left heel. We try to push it a little bit to the left. Try to get a little bit more of that internal spiral on the back leg. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Pull that back, both feet down onto the mat, and then in between sides, I want you to take your downward facing dog, your modified down dog. Close the eyes. Rinse the body with your breath. Keep moving your energy, especially if it feels a little stuck today. And then change sides. Ball that left foot. Sink the heel. Squeeze into the knee. Yeah. And we're kind of doing exactly the same. Like I use my hands kind of balance on the base of the chair as I find the right amount of stretch for that back leg. Nice thing is here, since you don't have like all your body weight, you might be able to get more stretch. I actually find like with a chair, a lot of times I can get more stretch. I got like kind of more gravity helping me to sink into it. And then once you feel propped up in balance, you could bring your left elbow to your left knee and lift your chest. The idea is that the right kneecap might turn a little to the left. And with that like strong straight right arm, we try to think a little up dog as we lift. Inhale. Exhale, you're going to pull it back and neutralize between sides. Down dog, nice big hang. You could use your feet like you're pulling them out wider, like your heels are spinning a little wider. That will widen your pelvic floor. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, come back up through center. And then this time, step your right foot to the middle of the chair. And then as you straighten your right leg, so I like to take my right foot to the back of the chair so it kind of holds it in that like flexed position. Driving the heel, it's nice. And when it's on a cushion, you can really kind of sink it into the cushion. Check the alignment of your left foot. Sometimes that foot really like turns open so that you roll your left hip in, inhale, lengthen, and then you can fold in here. This can be one, I really don't know how it feels in your body, Claire, but maybe like one hand up. So you can kind of pull yourself forward, like long spine, or both hands down. You decide. So like my left hand is almost like pulling the back of the chair towards me so that I can drag my heart forward, trying to think as much cow pose as possible. Okay. Last few moments is from your outer right knee. You try to pull back into the outer right hip. Imagine going right down the back of the right knee into the core of the sitting bone. And then from your inner right knee all the way to the inner upper thigh. Inhale. Exhale, keep the leg, both hands onto the chair. And then we're going to turn our right toes as much to the right as possible. And then cow pose with the spine. Lift up and out. One. This time the left hip can really roll in. And now that as your left hand keeps the balance, you could take your left arm, or sorry, right arm up and out on the diagonal, yeah, and use it to stretch your quadratus lumborum. My best activation of this is by putting my right forearm on the outside of that left corner of the chair and trying to draw a little bit into cat pose, actually. Yeah, rounding and filling through the QL, through the side ribs. Inhale. Exhale. Turn the right toes back up through center. Take 1 second pause here, Claire, as you pull your right sitting bone back. Sometimes freeing up that QL and the IT band, you get a little more hamstring stretch. And then release. Take your down dog in between sides. Quiet the mind, soften the brain. Relax the forehead as you hang and then we'll change sides. Left foot steps and then it extends. Lock the foot in. And again, the chair helps us because like if I was doing this standing, I may not be able to fix my right foot as much. Like my right foot really turns open. When I get the center of my ankle in line with my second and third toe, I can turn more into the work. Cow pose, please. Yep, as much as you can. Let the belly drop as you hold. If you want to take your right hand to the top of the chair and pull the back of the chair towards you to lengthen from the pubic bone through the belly button, through the center of the heart, extended spine here. Probably keep a lot of awareness through the inner edge of that right foot. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the leg, but rotate it out to the left. Right hip turns in to get that IT bend. Remember, we are always kind of like squeeze into the midline as you drive through the heel. Good. And as you keep rotating those toes and you rotate the kneecap, if you want to try for the QL stretch, your left hand goes to the outside edge of that right chair, kind of pulling and pressing against the corner. One. Inhale. Find your sticky spots, right? Like stagnant water. We want to keep it moving. We want to keep it flowing for 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. Keep the leg, come back to center as you turn the toes up and try one more big, powerful breath, moving through the hips, extending through the front of the spine. Go right down the midline, your hamstring stretch. Inhale. Exhale, push off the chair. One more time. Downward facing dog. All right, so there is the complete hang, which can feel really good, but there's also sometimes pulling the front ribs in a little bit, seeing if that helps to stabilize and put more stretch into your armpits, triceps, neck, and shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, come up to stand, and then you're going to turn the chair to face me. Yep. And I'd like to start with your right leg. So you're going to take your right leg over the top of the chair. Find the place where it would feel like a warrior 2. Okay. Yep. And then that back left leg. So we've got the base of our warrior 2. You get kind of good feedback, right? And I know your chair's a little tall. Like if I was there, like we put blocks under your feet and stuff, but you get the idea that you can kind of let that left sitting bone ground down because that's the opening of the pelvis. Float the arms up, warrior 2. And then here's your flow. Back hand on the back thigh, find your reverse warrior. Inhale. Exhale, right elbow, right knee, extended side angle. 2 more in flow, please. Inhale. Exhale. Reach away from that back left foot. It can be a great way to feel that long line. 1 more. Inhale. Both sitting bones are trying to ground, tailbone heavy. And then side angle here, lengthening up and out. 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. You come back up through center. Okay. We move towards the front edge of our chair. You decide. Okay. Legs out wide, toes turned in, hip hinge. Yeah. So my chair is really sticky on my mat. I don't know if yours feels like it's going to push back. Claire will just skip it. Yep. But if you feel that you can keep your hips high. Maybe drop down onto your elbows and fold in. 1. Inhale, decompress the spine as you release for 2. Nice place. So like I can really push my pubic bone into the edge of my chair, get some feedback there. And then walk yourself back up to center. Good. Flip it out. Left leg over 90 degrees. Yeah, so this isn't just for prenatal. This is actually one of the ways, like in my teacher training, we learn, because it's like it can be really there's a lot of like biomechanical feedback. You can feel your hip shifting forward, and that warrior 2 is the pelvic opener by really good and feeling that right sitting bone. Arms flow, warrior 2. Right? And even it's just kind of like your proprioceptive ability, like the chair back behind you, like a wall. You feel those right ribs pulling back. And then here we go with flow. Right hand on the back, flip the left palm, reach back, reverse. As you slide forward, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extend. Left elbow can help widen that left knee. 1 more. Breathe in. Lift up, right? I'm always saying like lift up out of the left hip. Good. And then side angle. And we'll hold from that right hip. Stretch the right mat away from you as you lengthen through your fingertips. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Bring that back up through center. Release. Okay. This will be our last thing from standing with the chair. Okay. Take it again to the top of your mat. Go ahead and put your left foot inside. We're going to set up for a triangle here. Yeah. As you start to feel the stretch in the pelvis tip, you may be able to drop down onto your forearm. And then for more shoulder opening this morning, can you wrap that right arm around? 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. Right hand onto your right hip. Push yourself off the chair. Left foot moves back. Ardha Chandrasana. So much better, right? When you do it up nice and high, you get a lot more control. But that's when you can like fix your foot, fix your knee, control through the pelvis. Think of it as light and bright as you extend up and out. Inhale. Exhale. Bring that back through center and we'll change sides. Whenever I say to people like, let's do chair yoga, they're like, no. I'm always like, this is the kind of yoga I can do all the time. I think it feels so good. All right, but you do have the feedback that once you set this bottom leg, the opening of the pelvis comes from pulling that back. Once you've set your legs, then maybe you come down onto your forearm and you can feel that it's easier to keep both sides of the body long. Top left arm wraps around for your half bind. Use this as an opportunity to take more of that cobra or sphinx-like action in the chest. Breath in for energy. Breath out. Leaving in its weight, just like a sense of calmness, a little lighter. Inhale. Exhale, isometric contraction in the legs, make it a little more powerful. Inhale. Exhale. Unwind your top left arm, hand to hip. Step your right foot back and then prepare. Nice big, full Ardha Chandrasana. Good. Pull the belly in and up so that you're not compressing in your low back. 3, 2, 1. Release. Chair goes to the top of your mat. And then as you come down onto your knees here, I want you to use this. It's not the easiest setup, but we're skipping down dog. If you can set that front right leg into your pigeon, and then there's no compression on the belly as you rest. Okay. And what I would ask though, is that if you feel length, you let the chair kind of like slide a little bit away from you. It's actually a very nice variation to keep that really long lever of your spine. A few more rich, deep breaths here. Keep your right leg. Left leg swings around. Janu Shirshasana. Okay, so I like to put the sole of my left foot onto the chair leg. Yep, so it locks it in. Can reset that leg. And then I kind of pull on the chair and I pull the chair towards me, like bending the elbows and trying to let the belly drop on the inside. Actually gonna be really a strong stretch because the chair leg keeps that foot flexed. Go right down the center of your hamstring. You pull with your arms, not with the shoulders. Inhale to lengthen, half flat back. Good. And then exhale, release. And we can change sides. Bending that left knee. Swinging and hooking the right leg back. Supported pigeon. Trying to use it as a little bit more restorative here. As we get rid of these blockages, energy flows better. You might feel a little less lethargic. I always think like a tight body kind of feels like a heavy body that you have to drag around with you. Inhale. Exhale. So you press yourself onto that left hip, right leg swings around, and then lock in that right leg. For Janu Shirshasana. Pulling the legs of the chair against the ball of the foot. You can feel that you're driving through the heel. Wow, I'm really less flexible. Normally I can reach through and grab the back legs of the chair. I do have to just remind myself here, Claire, not to pull with my neck, right? Relax the shoulders, pull with the arms, and lengthen through the crown of the head. Get what you need, that kind of final stretch out there. And then as you lift back up to center, release. Bottoms of both feet together. Baddha Konasana. And find that right distance for the chair to rest in. And I think this is the only way I ever want to do Baddha Konasana instead of feeling like you have to get to the floor. Gives us the priority of a long extended spine. Last few breaths, you could maybe squeeze the glutes a little. Seeing if that helps you to press the backs of the knees down, widen the thighs. Inhale. Exhale. As you come back up through center, I need you to make sure that your chair is completely on the mat so that it's very sticky. Yep, good. And then when you come to lie down, the feet are going to go, the arches of your feet are going to go on the edge of your chair. Yep. Arms out to the side. Inhale. Press down into the feet. Lift up like a bridge pose. 3, 2. These are actually very good. You take the weight off the pelvic floor. Massage down. Inhale. Push down, lift up. So we don't hold these for long. But reverse the flow of energy. Massage back down. Last one, inhale. Exhale, scoops to the tailbone, lift up. Right, you've got so much apana right now, right, which is down flow in the body. Things can feel really stagnant. And then bring the shin bones over the top edge of the chair. Make sure you go in further enough. Yep, the backs of your knees can feel supported. And you decide where it's comfortable to rest your shoulders, your arms, as you close your eyes. Back to that picturesque beach scene. sun on the face, breeze in the hair, sound of the waves. The gentle lapping. So the comments that I've gotten from women during prenatal, from years of having them tell me, right? There's a lot of stories that you're probably making up, right? Probably like some anxiety, like a lot of future projection. Imagine it like a story. Pick a shell. Toss it out into the ocean. Let it go. But then the ocean is just those surface ripples and waves and choppiness and distraction. Deep down, it's quiet. There's a vastness. Right? There's like an ancientness to the deep ocean. And this is where you try to remember and tap in to your deeper intuition, the stillness, the knowing. As you take rest. Inhale. Exhale. Kind of roll out your ankles a little bit, elevated up there. And extend the arms up overhead. And then you'll release as you roll to the left. And find seated. Hold the hands in front of your heart center. And then as you move through your day, notice what we pick up, what we can let go of. And if you can remember your breath, breathe in energy and leave calmness in the wake. Taking your thumbs to your third eye, bowing forward to seal your practice. Jai, Siddhatma. Jai.